This is probably, of all the things that are in my buyer folder, my seller folder, all the things that I do, it is the one item that buyers and sellers' eyes light up and are like, wait, what? Oh, this is great.
And one of the biggest things that I scream from the rooftops is during the holiday time, it's the only time of year you can ask people for their address without being salesy or creepy.
Creepy. Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to 2025.
I think it's going to be a good year.
It's going to be great. You know what I think a lot of people are going to have for their 2025 word of the year? Thrive.
Oh, why do you think this?
Because it rhymes.
Thrive in 2025?
Yeah, or maybe they'll do survive.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you survived 2024, you will thrive in 2025. All good, positive, upbeat things for 2025.
So many things rhyme with 25.
That's beautiful.
None of these are my word of the year.
Are you sharing yours?
I think I did before, and I was at Joy, and I think I'm still at Joy. But at the time of this recording, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind.
Okay.
But it's at Joy.
Great.
Are you picking a word?
I don't know. I never remember my word.
Well, then it's not really worth it to pick one.
No.
Okay. So the holidays are over.
Yeah. The holidays are over.
It's time to get back down to business.
And I taught a few database classes
during the holiday.
During the holidays.
Season.
Like for my office and things like that. And one of the biggest things that I scream from the rooftops is during the holiday time, it's the only time of year you can ask people for their address without being salesy or creepy.
Creepy.
Like, hey, what's your address? I'd love to send you a market report. Whoa. Nobody wants to give you their address for that. So I'm always telling people, like, tell them, like, I'm doing holiday cards. Where can I send yours? And now you have a beautifully built database.
Right. Or maybe you didn't, and now it's like, well, guess I'll wait till next year.
Yeah, well, we're here to give you another idea.
This is a deep how-to.
But here's the beauty of this episode. If you have your database ready to go because you did all your holiday homework, then this will be an amazing value tool for you to use for your database, for your email list, for anybody, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't do your holiday homework, this is an excellent tool to still reach out to people.
I'm like,
I know. There's a tiny little gnat.
I'm like, where is it?
I don't know.
It flew right in front of my face. But this is the tool.
Yeah, this is the tool.
Still reach out to your database.
Without saying, hey, just checking in.
Right.
Did you know I'm still in real estate? Barely, but
I'm surviving.
I'm surviving and just looking for some business to get me through another year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to get in touch with our database now.
Yeah, and what I love about this is that it's actually valuable and it's something that people want.
This is probably, of all the things that are in my buyer folder, my seller folder, all the things that I do, it is the one item that buyers and sellers' eyes light up and are like, wait, what? Oh, this is great. Because I print out my vendor list and put it in those folders, and they have it whenever I go to those original appointments. But you can do this, what we're about to teach you, at any time of the year.
Yeah, anytime.
You can do it right now. You can do it in the spring. You can do it in the summer. It doesn't matter. You probably could do it twice a year, honestly.
You could, definitely.
If you're listening to this episode, we know you like data and numbers, so we know you're going to love this freebie.
In episode 226, we talk about all the numbers that we track and how to treat your business like a business.
Grab your tracking spreadsheet at hustlehumblypodcast.com/track. Okay, so tell them what's the story?
What do you mean?
What are we going to do?
What are we going to start this whole thing?
Well, before we get into how to do the vendor list campaign, so I just said I put mine in my folders.
Yes.
But you do not give people your vendor list.
No, I do not give them my whole vendor list.
Why?
Because I enjoy that people reach out to me to say, hey, who's your painter these days?
Yeah.
And I get so many messages. And it's like people who I maybe closed them 3 years ago.
Right.
And they'll text me and say, hey, we're thinking about finally renovating that bathroom. Who's a good contractor to get a quote from? And then I'm like, oh, hey,
you get to have a point of contact.
Yeah. And so I always liked that, but also I understand it's not the most efficient way.
Well, I guess my next question would be, so you've not ever actually done this, what we're about to talk about, like called everyone on your database or messaged or emailed and said, hey, I'm doing this and I'll send you the list when I'm done.
Correct. I've only done the first part.
Okay.
Where I email them and say, I'm updating my personal vendor list.
Yeah.
If you have someone that you like, send them my way. But then it was like people started calling me too. Even people that weren't my clients would be like, hey, do you have someone that could help me rebuild my deck?
I text you all the time.
Yeah, and I text you sometimes when I have a hole.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about your realtor community. You're always sourcing vendors for any number of things.
Yeah, like who's actually good.
Okay, that might be a good place to start. So let's just kind of give the overview. So in the vendor list campaign, you are going to be reaching out to the people who you want to put in your database or who are already there and saying, actually, shall I read we're going to give you the actual words in the email, text, DM, however you're sending this. And it's basically going to say, hi, I have a great vendor list that I'm ready to update. This has always been my client's favorite resource, and I would love your input. My list is always growing and changing. Do you have any local service providers you think should be included? They could be home-related or not. Example, plumber, electrician, painter, CPA, dry cleaner, baker, etc. If you are interested in receiving my updated list when I'm finished, respond with your email and street address, and I'll send it to you. I appreciate your input and hope the list is helpful for you as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to give you the message, and then you send this however you want. Or you can call on the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm updating my vendor list. Basically, shorthand this.
However you want to reach out to people, this is just a real reason to reach out. Whether it's a call or a text or an email or a DM, this is the perfect way, especially being that it's January, saying, hey, for 2025, I need to revamp my vendor list.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing because, people roll
leave.
off, they get busy.
They're not good anymore.
Yeah. Do you have anybody? And then, so what I love about it is like, you're not asking for money.
Right.
You're not asking for business.
No.
You're not asking for anything. You're saying, do you know someone or do you have a business I can support?
Yeah.
And even if you don't, if you would like a copy of the complete version,
I'll send it to you. I would love someone to call, text, whatever, send us a message and say that they did this and someone said, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Would anyone actually be like, no, I don't actually want that?
Right. Just probably someone who's
please never call me
really paranoid. And that person doesn't need to be on your database.
They should be removed. This is a great culling.
But what's beautiful about this is you did say database specifically, which yes, but also just your email list in general.
Yeah.
So the email list, remember, is people who you just have their emails. These you may not even have a personal relationship with them.
Maybe you don't know their
address.
But
you could just email these emails and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you have anybody? Respond to this email and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, because if you're doing an email, you're sending out a mass message.
Yes.
Like if you're using your MailChimp or whatever, that's going to take minutes. Now, the sorting through responses is just going to take a bit longer. What I would like to say, so you've sent the message. Let's just say you start getting responses. And maybe you're thinking, well, do I have to have, we're going to give you the who do you know list, right? You don't have to have a plumber, but ideally you want a plumber, right?
Right.
The main house things you really need.
Yes.
Plumber, electrician, handyman.
Painter.
Right.
Yes.
But do you have to have a CPA? No. But if someone recommends a good CPA, or
stick them on there.
Put them on there. So the vendor list is just like your database, always growing and changing.
Yes. Pruning, removing.
It's never done, but which also means you can send it at any amount of full. It could have 5 people on it. It could have 50. It doesn't matter. It's not like
here's just a list of credible people I've been working with this year that I just wanted to share their information.
Right. You don't have to be like, oh, shoot, I don't have a house cleaner on here yet. I guess I can't send it out. No. It should be always changing. So that's kind of nice. But on our Who Do You Know list, which is the one we give you to figure out your database.
Yes.
Has a great home-related column.
So what's the freebie for database? hustlehumblypodcast.com/start
here.
Start here. That's where you go to download our free spreadsheet
for your database.
Correct. And then attached to that freebie is this Who Do You Know list.
Yeah.
That if you don't have a good solid database, helps you go through and say, well, are all these people on this list?
Yeah, it's like a jog your memory type of situation.
But it's also perfect for the vendor list campaign because under the homeowner related, it has the list of things that you may want to make sure that you have
on your list. Read us a few.
Okay. Pool servicer, a roofer, a brick mason, movers, yard maintenance, pest control. I mean, it's just so many like good things on here. And there's several. And then you're going to get even more from the responses that you send out. And here's the thing, even if you don't have the biggest email list in the world, that's okay.
That's okay.
Get a few responses and you fill in the blanks. Maybe go around your office and
ask other agents
for help. So don't feel like whatever excuse you're making in your mind right now for not doing this, there isn't one. This is such a valuable resource that does nothing but make you look like the professional.
Yeah, and a resource.
You're a good resource. You provide value and you're not asking for anything. The number one thing we hear from listeners about reaching out to others is, I just don't want to feel so salesy.
Yeah.
We are hand delivering you this so that there's just no way it can be salesy.
No, there is no, you're not selling anything.
You're giving.
You're giving away a resource.
Yeah, a very valuable resource.
Right. So you're completing 3 tasks when you do this. 1, you're filling that database, right?
Yes.
So we're getting those addresses. We're adding people on maybe from our email list that now have given us an address. We're filling and completing our database. Number 2 task you're completing is completing your favorite word, a touch to your database. So it's a contact. It might be more than one. It's the original email.
Yes.
It's the email back when they tell you the person. And then it's for sure at least a second one when you send them the list. So you got 2, maybe 3 contacts in there.
Right.
Probably 3 if they say, yes, I want the list. You could also streamline this Google form style.
Yes.
If you're sending an email to a lot of email addresses and you don't think you can have the time or bandwidth to then sort through, 100 people responding.
I love a Google form.
Make your Google form say your person's name, email address where you want to receive. Question, do you want the list when it's complete? If so, give us your street address.
Right.
And then the last one is blanks for what are the vendors you'd like us to share?
Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah.
What a great Google form.
And then wait, you know what will happen then? You could even make it have like one question be vendor type where they put in electrician and then underneath it vendor name because the Google form will put that in a spreadsheet.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
You could kind of populate your whole, if you go that route, if you want to be techie or quick about it, you could just populate your whole vendor list like that.
Yeah.
Now, I have had a student before ask about putting something like a Google form for a vendor list on their open Facebook. So anyone could come and put in anybody. I do have some nervousness about just accepting, oh, sure, you can go put your own information in there. So Joe Schmo Lawn Care puts their information in, but you have no point of reference.
Yeah.
You don't know if they were good. You don't know if someone has used them. You don't know their business practices, if they show up, if they charge a lot, a little. We don't know anything.
Right.
So that makes me a little bit nervous. I think when you're asking your database, it's you asking a trusted person to share with you someone that they trust and have used.
Correct.
Or if it is their service, that's fine. But I still would think you want to be able to find out someone who's used the service. Okay. That leads me to the disclaimer part. What did you say to put at the bottom of this data? At the bottom of your vendor list? So while I
do like having people text me, I also think an alternative could be that you put at the bottom of your vendor list. If you've had this longer than a year, reach out to me for an updated version.
Yeah. I think I'm going to add that to mine because right now my disclaimer, which I learned, people will sometime also ask, are you nervous about referring people to all these other people. Like, what if they do a bad job? I'm like, well, first of all, it is not on me if someone else does a bad job. Right. I cannot internalize that. But I do from experience, because I had a client call and was like, hey.
It does happen.
I used the carpet person you recommended. They did this, this, this. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry. I will have to take them off my list. And at that point, she actually said, well, it wasn't terrible. I don't know that I would take them off the list. I just wanted you to know what happened. So I was like, okay, if it's not bad enough to take them off the list, but that was her way. I was like, well, I'll just take them off the list. She's like, no. So then she was heard, but also.
Right.
After that, at the bottom of my vendor list, it says something to the effect of, if you call one of these service providers and find that they are no longer in business, or if you use them and they do not do a good job, please let me know so that I can adjust this list accordingly.
Right.
I am not going to be checking to make sure everyone's in business once a month.
No.
I'm not running a BNI.
No.
But it is kind of like a BNI.
Yeah, I need to know if you're still available and taking new clients.
But it's kind of like, I got to put that back on the people I'm giving the list to. This is a community effort.
Yeah.
If you call someone and they aren't working anymore in this field, tell me. I'll take them off.
Yeah.
I have not had any issues.
I think having that disclaimer at the bottom is perfect because it's letting you know these are recommendations. Are people perfect? No. The reason it's always changing and growing and evolving and pruning is because people get busy or people leave the business and the service level changes.
Yeah. And some businesses may be getting better.
Yeah.
Some may be getting worse. But it's kind of like, this is Angie's list, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be Alyssa's list.
Yeah.
And Katie's list. And Susie's list. Like, you have your own list.
Everybody has their own people.
Right. And we need that because we can't all use the same plumber. They're not available for all of us.
Nope.
It's not going to happen. And
we need a few options.
And if we go to the big plumbing conglomerate.
Well, that was a question I have for you. Do you have more than one under a category?
Oh my gosh. Almost all of them have more than one.
Me too.
Almost all of them. Yeah. So, and under handyman, there's 5.
Great.
It's like anytime anytime I hear someone say, I have a handyman, it goes on.
Yeah. I'm saving it.
Because it's so hard to get one.
It is hard.
So, yes, I have multiple, but then maybe there's only one, CPA. I only vetted one. I only know one. No one has recommended another. I don't care. And maybe there's none.
Right.
I make sure for, I guess, RESPA reasons or whatever, I make sure that there are 3 lenders, 3 title, 3,
I see.
Those ones, I make sure to not have one.
Right.
It's very important, y'all, especially on lenders and title, because you don't want to look like you're making your clients go to one.
That's not allowed.
You have to give them options, which I do. And even on lenders, I have 3 regular mortgage brokers, 3 maybe from a bank, one that does land, one that does
that's nice.
Investments. They don't all do the same thing.
Right.
So I have a bunch of lenders on there.
Yeah. I think that's great.
And look, when you hand it to a buyer and they're like, well, which lender should I call? I could be like, well, you're this, so you need this.
Right.
Or try these 2 or compare these 2. You're not going to call all 6, but or even all 3.
Yeah.
But I don't actually like when a buyer won't call 2. It's nice for them to see and compare.
Yeah.
Our database template is the key to repeat and referral business, and it's free for you.
Your database is the foundation of successful business, and we want to help you get started.
Not sure who you would put on the list? Don't worry, we have ideas for you.
Grab your free database template and Who Do You Know list at hustlehumblypodcast.com/start here.
Have you ever had any trouble with someone using one of your vendors?
All the time.
And what do you say? Tell us how that goes.
I'm so sorry to hear that. They've always done such a great job for me in the past, but I know that, if they've hired new people or if they've gotten extra busy, quality can always change. I'm happy to remove them from the vendor list. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that you're not internalizing it.
Right.
Because you didn't do the bad job.
No. And you are not liable. I do not care what anyone says. You're not liable for someone else's work. Whenever people say they won't show up to their home inspection because of liability and they're not the home inspector, I'm like, but I didn't show up and inspect.
No.
I just was there.
Yeah.
observing the inspection.
And guiding and directing.
There was an inspector there. They're liable for that, not me.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes maybe we overthink it and maybe use some of those things as fear or excuses not to like give the service you can give.
Sure.
This is the easiest thing you can do in your business. All right. So any other thoughts about what to do once they respond back?
So when I first send out my email, I do create a side folder that's just temporary because I just start putting all the responses in there.
Yes.
I give it like 4 or 5 days.
Do you send just one request or will you send a follow-up request?
It depends how many responses I'm getting. I think a follow-up request would be good.
Yeah.
Even if it was something specific.
Yeah.
Like your first one's this general one that we read. And then the second one is, hey guys, I'm almost done with the final version of the vendor list. I'm still missing a pool servicer. Like you could maybe give some very specific.
These are the things I'm looking for.
Yeah. Do you have any of these?
Yeah, because it is hard from the jump to just be like, hey, I need some people. So would it? I'm trying to think about this from the Google form angle. Would it make sense to put in categories? I do too, but like, would it make sense to put categories and leave blanks where you could fill in?
Yeah, you don't maybe like other.
But that'll jog the person's memory.
Yeah, and then you could have other.
Yeah, like have your big 10 or whatever the major ones you felt like you needed to have that way. And that would give you multiple people giving you different recommendations.
Or maybe even under other, you could copy and paste like this. Like something that's just
all the others.
All the others to give them more ideas of what you're looking for.
Do you know what I was just thinking? I feel like you could take this to the next level. Let's just say you make the Google form and you put in plumber, electrician, handyman, pool person, whatever your main ones are that you want for house related, if you're going to do that. And then let's just say you get 5 plumbers back. Well, I mean, I don't know that I would put 5 plumbers on my list. Yeah. So how do you choose? Why don't you then reach out to the 5 plumbers and be like, hey, are you taking new clients? Like what's your turnaround time for repairs? Are you interested in offering my database some sort of discount? I'm making a vendor list and your name was mentioned. I'd like to put you on there.
Yeah.
This is not any type of paid advertising.
No.
But if you want to offer, people who use my name $100 off, let me know and I'll make sure I put that on the list.
I think that would be perfect. I usually do reach out to them to let them know they're going to be on the list and if they're okay with it.
Yeah.
But I do think, and it will get pretty long for this, but sometimes it's like, do you want me to put anything by your name, like free estimates?
Yeah.
Or schedule through website?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like any tips for reaching you?
That
or
makes
anything.
sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or like I have one like National Foundation, $50 for a consultation. But it's good to know that on the list, like what are all these things?
Right, what to expect.
So you can take this as far as you want. Don't get stuck in the weeds with the details.
Yeah.
Because remember, even if you get 5 people that you email your email list database and say, hey, these vendors were so excellent for me in 2024. I just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah.
Working on my list for 2025. Do you have people you want to add?
Right.
The point is that you are reaching out. They know that you are working still, that you are in real estate.
Yeah, because this is the most real estate-y thing you can do without being salesy.
100%.
Can I send you a home value? No. Can I send you some people to help you with your landscaping?
Yes.
This is totally different.
So different.
You're like, yes, thank you.
And then maybe one day when you go to sell your house, it'll have beautiful landscaping because you use my list.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think, I've never done this, but it kind of begs the question, do you put a realtor blank and put your name on it?
That would be hilarious. I think I would have to do it in a funny way.
Like the funniest way you could.
Like Alissa Jenkins, of course.
Duh.
Obviously.
Owner of said list.
Yeah. Yeah.
See.
Like it could be very cute.
See owner of list at top of page.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's funny.
Or like a picture of your dogs next to like the dog groomer or something.
That's cute.
Like there's so many things.
Yeah, I know, y'all. And I want to also say, because I have to tell this to people all the time in agent systems. I'm like, I just do this in black and white on a plain spreadsheet.
Right.
I know that you can take it to Canva and make it look like a freaking booklet or something. It's the information that people need.
Right.
You can make it as beautiful as you want, and I'm all for that. However, you can get this done fast.
Done is better than perfect. They want the value.
They just want the information.
On that note, I have found in the past when I did my campaign, so I always use my MailChimp to send the email out.
Right.
Because it's free and I can send out the most amount of emails
at one time.
At one time. Mm-hmm. But if I tried to make it in like a newsletter graphic-y looking thing.
They don't open that.
I don't get responses.
You make it look like you typed it real quick.
Right. Mm-hmm. I literally just use
straight text.
Straight text that looks like it's going only to this person.
Yeah.
And that's when I get responses.
Yeah.
Because I think if it looks like a newsletter, people think, oh, this went to everybody.
I don't have time for this.
I'm not going to read. Yeah.
I'm not special.
Right. So make sure that when you're doing this, it looks like you're emailing that person.
Yeah. I agree.
You don't have to do anything fancy there either. Less is more for sure.
Yeah. This should be very simple.
Every time we talk about the vendor list campaign, I want to share the story of when I was a new agent. You've heard this story. But I was a new agent and it was slow. And I had also just gotten married to Tanner and we are now newly living together.
The lawn guy?
Yes.
Go. I love this story. So good.
So I'm sitting at his house, now my house.
Rolls eyes.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing here?
What am I doing here? I don't have anywhere to go. He wakes up and goes to work because he has a job. And I'm like, I need those. I don't have any clients. I don't have any sales meetings today. I'm just like a bump on a log. I'm in a funk. I'm not motivated. I'm stressed out right now. So Tanner always had this young guy, so sweet, that always cut his grass for him. He did a few of the other law enforcement guys too. Well, I hear he's cutting the grass and I'm like, okay, whatever. Glad someone's working today. And then someone knocks on the door. And I am like still in my jammies. It's probably lunchtime. I'm still sulking, about why I have nothing to do today. Mm-hmm. And I open the door and I pretend to be like ill. Like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm just home today because I'm sick. But at first I thought he was knocking because Tanner always left the check under the mat. You know, this was 2011. Okay, right, 2012. Yeah. So I open the door. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Did he forget to leave the check? And this kid is like so nervous and sweet and, looks like he's just so scared of what he's about to say. And I'm like, did he not leave the check? No, ma'am. He left the check. He left the check. I was just going to see if I could give you a few of my business cards. And if you have anybody else in the neighborhood, since I already do your house, I could do some others on the street. If you wouldn't mind, like, letting them know that I cut grass. And I just was like, oh, yes.
I will tell them.
I will tell everybody because that is the nicest, sweetest thing and you're working so hard. Mm-hmm. And it just was like the kick in the butt that I needed to say this
He saved your career.
He did.
He really did.
Little long guy. I'll have to remember who
we need to figure out who that was.
Yeah. I wonder what he's doing now. But it just made me go, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's not about him knocking on the door saying, like, give me business. It's like, hey, I provide a service.
Right.
A lot of people need help with this. If you want to share it, that would be so great.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to because I thought it was so brave of him to just put himself out there.
Yeah.
And this is 10 times easier than what he did.
So much easier.
So much easier.
You're like, I'm going to use this myself. Do you want a copy?
Right. But it's like a mindset thing. So there's nothing about this list that could turn anybody off.
No.
Talk about providing value.
Yeah.
It also helps you in your business when you're looking for people.
Yeah, you'll get organized.
Yeah. I just think it's such a great campaign and it is so simple.
Yeah, super simple. So we'll give them the template, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that slashy should be.
Oh.
Vendor?
Yeah.
Just /vendor.
Okay.
Okay. If you go to hustlehumblypodcast.com/vendor, VENDOR, vendor, then you can get and we'll just put the who do you know list there too, but you can get the little, it's so easy, but.
Yeah, so easy.
This email I read you. Yeah. That you can text, email, DM.
Which is why it's free.
Right. Like, it's very simple.
Now, do we want to talk about BYO?
Yes, please, for a minute.
Okay, so we have, before 2025, we had Build Your Own Business, which was our course for creating or using your database.
Correct.
The vendor list campaign is a module.
It's part of one, yes.
It's part of one. Now, BYOB is really helpful to like getting your database cleaned up, started, growing it, pruning it.
We talk about email list
versus database. So, and then it ends with the vendor list campaign to use all of those things that we taught. As of 2025, Build Your Own Business is not available for sale all the time.
Correct.
We are actually going to save it for the fall so that we can do it together with y'all.
Yeah, we're going to do it with you.
Because here's the thing with BYOB. You need to do it every year.
Yeah, correct. You need to do those tasks every year.
So like just last month when I was sending out my Christmas cards, I had to delete like 3 spouses' names because they either died or got divorced.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's no longer Sue and Joe. It's just Sue.
Right. And we go through all the ways you reach out to your database, which seems to fall more towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I think the end of the year to get a holiday card out or something, or a football magnet out, something that goes to all your people. End of the year is the best time to evaluate how was my year? Is everybody that I closed and liked in my database? Is people not like how is my database? And this isn't ever finished.
No. So we're going to do it all together
in the fall. So if you're interested in doing that, I know the fall is a long ways away, but we're going to go ahead and start a waiting list.
Yeah, you can go to /BYOB
for the wait list.
And
then when it comes time to do the course together.
Yeah.
So even if you own BYOB,
you'll be able to do it with us.
You can still join us and we'll do it together because we'll be teaching it live.
Correct.
So it's perfect.
I love it. It's really all we've got.
Yeah. So get your vendor list campaign, hustlehumblypodcast.com/vendor. If you want the Who Do You Know list and database spreadsheet, hustlehumblypodcast.com/start here.
Correct.
And if you want to be on the wait list for Build Your Own Business, hustlehumblypodcast/BYOB.
That's correct. And if you have some success stories or as you build your list, please share with us.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it because really, I think people are shocked by how well this works.
So good.
It's really good.
And if you're like a creative person, we'd love to see how you made it pretty.
Yeah, might as well show it to me pretty.
It doesn't have to be pretty, but if you make it pretty, we would like to see it.
I would love to see it. Okay, I think that's it. Shall we have a toast?
Yeah, let's do a toast.
Okay, bye.
I'm Emmy Tippett. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I am toasting my broker, Wendy Green. I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you do for me, personally, professionally. I just appreciate all of the time, the energy that you pour into helping me grow, and I just love ya.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.